Disney is doing everything they can to ensure that Sonic the Hedgehog 3 does not beat Mufasa, including using some shady business tactics that, let's be real, Disney's known to do in the past, and even in doing so, they're still faltering. So welcome back to Words Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idol, and yeah, if you haven't seen this coming from That Park Place, Disney bullies theaters, forcing Mufasa on more screens than Sonic 3, even as the Hedgehog earns far more, and we do have some numbers to back this up. Now, Mufasa has technically earned more, both because it's already been released internationally, whereas Sonic has not had an international release yet, and because of Christmas Day, we do finally have Mufasa, sort of pulling ahead, but again, there's some chicanery afoot, and we're not going to find out until we get the international release who the actual king is, Mufasa or the Blue Blur, and it's interesting because we've seen this tactic before from Disney, not just in regards to other family films, but even against Quentin Tarantino films. This happened in 2015 with The Hateful Eight, but we'll get to that in a minute. Before we do, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news every day, and let's go ahead and see what this actually refers to. As the holiday season unfolds, the cinematic landscape reveals a familiar pattern. Disney flexing its box office muscles by dominating theater allocations. However, this year brings an unusual twist, as Sonic the Hedgehog 3 has emerged as the unexpected box office leader. For the media analysts, but not for you or me, despite being hindered by Disney's theater allocation tactics. Yes, I've been saying it for months. Many people have been saying it for months. We talked about it on Cooch's show. Anyone that follows any sort of Hollywood trends, what's going on, that isn't just the access media telling you, knew that Sonic was going to body Mufasa. There was far more hype for Sonic. Disney has been struggling at the box office for the last couple of years. Yes, there are some exceptions to the rule. Things like Deadpool and Wolverine, things like Inside Out 2, most recently Moana. But in general, if you look at the culmination of the last few years of Disney, they have been in a funk because folks have been turning on them. I mean, middle American families ain't exactly hyped about what Disney been doing, so yeah, they don't care to go see Disney movies. Add to that a live action, this isn't actually live action prequel that, again, nobody asked for. They've been dumping most of their live action stuff on Disney Plus, like Peter Pan, Pinocchio, things to that effect, Lady and the Tramp. This just wasn't something that general audiences wanted to see. Sort of, because there are numbers to back up the fact that it is still doing numbers. Now note, there is massive difference in the budgets between these two films, so even if Sonic has technically started to make less, it will probably come out the victor in terms of, box office support and response, but we'll get into the numbers in just a moment. Disney's approach to the holiday release has long relied on securing the widest possible theater footprint. This strategy ensures that their films are accessible to the broadest audience, squeezing out competitors. Historically, this tactic has been highly effective. In 1999, Toy Story 2 dominated Thanksgiving weekend with a record-breaking release in 3,236 theaters, setting a precedent for Disney's future holiday campaigns. Now, that was in 1999. 3,200 theaters. Y'all want to take a wild guess as to what Mufasa opened to? Don't hurt yourselves. Don't flex them brain muscles too much. I can show you what they opened to, and let me tell you, the number's pretty massive. They opened to 4,100 theaters. 4,100, that nearly 1,000 more theaters than 25 years ago. And they did this purely because they knew that Sonic the Hedgehog was opening in 3,700. So again, 3,700, that's still a pretty big number. It's opening to almost 4,000, but even so, you've got a solid 500 theaters on Sonic the Hedgehog 3. And they are barely beating the film. I mean, look at the domestic gross here. Now, these numbers, by the way, don't account for yesterday. They only go up through Christmas. Sonic is made domestically $60 million. That's pretty damn good. Domestically, Mufasa's made $64 million. And if you look at the day-by-day breakdown, they only surpass Sonic because of Christmas. I mean, it's actually insane. Opening day, Friday, Sonic raked in 25.5 milli, with Lion King making 13 mil. Like, that is a massive discrepancy. People were far more excited for Sonic on opening day, but the trend continues. Sonic on day 2, almost 20 mil. Disney, not quite 12. Then you got the Sunday. Sonic at 15 mil. Disney and Mufasa, 10 mil. It has consistently beat it up until Christmas Day, when Sonic raked in a little over 10 mil. And Mufasa miraculously did 14 million. And it's because of that theater allocation. less screens are showing Sonic, numerically, eventually it's going to just, make sense that Mufasa does surpass it, because you don't have Sonic in these other theaters. It's not being shown on other screens. If you have a 14 cinema multiplex and 4 of those cinemas are playing Mufasa and only 1 or 2 are playing Sonic, yeah, the options are going to be more limited for the people to go see Sonic. Those seats are going to fill up faster, whereas you can fit more people in the Disney film. So it's really just artificially inflating numbers, because if you look at the trend, clearly people are more excited to see Sonic. It's had more viewing, it's had more sales on the day-to-day up until Christmas, because people are choosing to see that over Mufasa. And again, like I said, this isn't the first time Disney's done this. In fact, like I mentioned earlier, they did it to a Quentin Tarantino film. When The Force Awakens, yes, the first Disney Star Wars film, when The Force Awakens released back in 2015, it was supposed to have a couple of weeks at the Chinese theater, special showings, a very prestigious theater. But prior to that, or after its 2-week showing, Quentin Tarantino was supposed to get his turn with The Hateful Eight. Disney was so terrified of people showing up for The Hateful Eight, even though Tarantino had a signed contract saying that he would get exclusive viewing rights, that's all that would be shown in that theater, Disney effectively bought out the contract and forced the Chinese theater to say, cancel Hateful Eight, show The Force Awakens for another 2 weeks. They bullied Quentin Tarantino completely out of the Chinese theater box office. Now note, the Chinese theater, again, is a prestigious theater in California. We're not talking about the Chinese marketplace. I feel like I should specify that. And Tarantino went on a rant about it. He was pissed. I mean, there were articles, I don't remember the articles at the time, the headline, Disney is going out of their way to fuck me. Like, Tarantino was pissed, and we're seeing these exact same tactics over and over. While it was never confirmed, I feel like that's the reason that Dune 2 got delayed. If you remember, Dune 2 was originally set for a November release of last year, 2023, and it got delayed to early this year. Well, what was its competition going to be this last year? The Marvels. Disney had to know, folks, we're going to go see Dune 2 and not the Marvels. And again, that's just my theory. I have no confirmation that that's actually the reason for Dune 2's delay. But with Disney having a history of this in the past, and we're seeing it again now with Sonic vs. Mufasa, the point is, Disney plays dirty games to try and make money at the box office, because they're in a position where they can't do it on their own at this point. More recently, Moana 2 debuted in a staggering 4,200 theaters during Thanksgiving 2024, grossing $221 million in 5 days and contributing to the highest grossing Thanksgiving weekend on record. Disney's control over theater allocations not only boosts revenue, but also limits the availability of screens for competing films, particularly during the lucrative holiday season. And despite Disney's dominance, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 has managed to outpace the competition at the box office. Outpace, see what you did there, good call. Raking in more than $60 million in its opening weekend and securing the top spot in North America, yet its success is overshadowed by a significant limitation: the inability to expand its theater count. This is the... Again, I'm biased, I'm a Sonic fan, but let me tell you, this is the best Sonic film yet, and the fact that it's going to be taking a hit at the box office, fans are not going to be able to be given what they want because of Disney artificially inflating numbers, how is Disney going unpunished for these sorts of shady business practices? We got this tweet from Joey Boy here. Isn't it crazy that Sonic 1 had a complete rework, Sonic 2 filmed through COVID, Sonic 3 filmed around an actors and writers strike, but still came out with an amazing trilogy? All odds against them, and they cooked. We are looking at a textbook definition of quality over quantity in this instance. Currently showing in 3,769 locations, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 faces a bottleneck caused by contractual obligations many theaters have with Disney for Mufasa the Lion King. Why are theaters still making these contracts with Disney? When you look at their past, when you look at their recent record, when you look at the fact that the parks are losing money, that most of their films over the last several years have lost money, there's been a notable decline in the numbers on the streaming services. At one point, did the business guys say, you know what? We're not going to sign this contract. We'll take the gamble on something like Sonic 3, which has proven itself over the last several years and continued to prove itself by up until Christmas Day, making more money every single day than the slot that Disney's put out just to... I don't even know. What is Disney putting out The Lion King for? What are they putting out Mufasa for, aside from... yeah, you could say to make money. But even then, are they really doing that? The movie's budget is insane, and even with its international release, it really hasn't even made that back yet. So, Disney's cooked. They're done. So what are they doing? Scorched earth. Burn everything along with them. If they can't have it, no one will, and that's why Sonic is being punished. While Sonic 3 provided far more revenue per theater, total count of screens added for Sonic 3 from its first week to its second will be a staggering 8. Yes, 8 additional screens in the entire nation. Disney's agreement often stipulates extended runs in high number of theaters, leaving little room for blockbusters to increase their reach. Despite being the second highest earner of the season, Mufasa continues to occupy 4,100 locations, effectively stifling Sonic's ability to capitalize on its box office momentum. The scenario highlights the broader implications of Disney's theater saturation strategy, and while this tactic maximizes Disney's box office returns, it also reshapes the competitive dynamics of the holiday season. Films like Sonic the Hedgehog 3, which might otherwise expand their footprint to meet audience demand, are constrained by lack of available screens. Theaters, too, face a dilemma. Disney films often come out with guarantees of high audience turnout. Freudian slip there. I think that's an idiot turnout, and to be fair, if you are seeing Disney films in the theaters in 2024, 2025, I mean, you are kind of an idiot, making them safer box office exhibitors. However, the reliance on Disney can lead to reduced diversity in film offerings, limiting choices for moviegoers and opportunities for competing studios. The recent past is starting to have some AMC and Regal consider the House of Mouse good. If they are reconsidering House of Mouse relations, that is 100% a good thing, because, I mean, again, look at it. Who cares about this? The domestic or the international box office is going to really tell a story here, because, again, Sonic has not had its international release yet, minus, I think, like New Zealand or something to that effect. It starts today, actually, I do believe. Today is Friday, so yeah, the international release for Sonic starts today. We're going to see some numbers come in over the weekend, and come Monday, we will know who the actual box office king really is, because I mean, to me, there is no way that internationally Sonic does not just completely destroy. We're talking about a Japanese IP. We're talking about one of the most popular video game franchises the world over. Look at the success of things like the Super Mario Bros., the previous Sonic films. I mean, this is at least going to dominate in Asian markets. Sonic is getting a Chinese release, which is always going to be massive. If a film gets a Chinese release, then, I mean, you got the most populous country in the world shelling out money to go see it. Unlike what Disney's been doing with their films, Sonic doesn't have any sort of agenda to it. There is no, whatever you want to call it, wokeness or identity politics, DEI. None of that shit exists in the film itself, so it's a safe bet for Chinese markets. Again, plus you got the other Asian markets with it being a Japanese IP, just like we have with Mario. All in all, I do think we're still going to see Sonic come out on top, but it's worth calling out the fact that Disney is doing anything and everything they can to stifle that film because they're afraid of it. Disney knows they're no longer the cultural juggernaut they used to be, and that terrifies them. That means we've been putting the pressure on Disney for God knows how many years now, and then we are finally starting to see some results between the box office, the failing parks, and now them going so far as to fuck with other films and studios because of sheer desperation, and you love to see it. But these are just my opinions. Let me know yours in the comments down below, or let me know on X, where you can find me at Bolt the Word. And please do subscribe. I'm a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news nearly every day. Not always in video format, but live streams, not always about films, anime, movies, music, Magic the Gathering, you name it. Check me out on Instagram at wordsofparadise_Leon, and become a member for $4.99 a month. You can join the Discord, choose the articles I go over on a day-to-day basis, choose the videos I react to on my Friday night live streams, and of course, get involved with over 150 other vital idols. We are a bright, beautiful, glowing, vibrant community that I cannot wait to grow even further, because we do care about diversity, but only one kind of diversity of thought. If that's interesting to you, join the Discord, hit subscribe, and until next time, it is all here in the Nerdosphere. This has been Words of Paradise.